Good afternoon, everyone. I am doing a Facebook Live and an Instagram Live at the same time, so that's why you'll kind of see me go back and forth. Not yet, have not figured out how to do them at the same time, didn't want to record them twice. So today I'm standing in Lancaster, South Carolina. As you can see behind me, this is the property that I've been talking about. It's 40 acres, plus I've got another 10 acres next to it, plus there's another 2 acres. So in total, plus or minus, it comes out to be about 55 acres. Now this property here that I'm standing on, you'll probably hear the drone behind me. Today we're doing some drone videography because I have a lot of businesses, a lot of universities that are looking at this area. So it's important that I give them a good drone shot, a good kind of aerial of what this looks like, because this property in particular, I've got my list in front of me because there's just so many things that it can be used for, is zoned neighborhood business. Now that is so general, and I'm also right on Kershaw Camden Highway and 521 bypass. So I'm about 30 minutes from Ballantyne, probably about 50 minutes from downtown Charlotte, 15 minutes to the closest schools, and probably about 20 minutes to all of the popular Indian land high schools. So right now here in South Carolina, this is the property that I've got for sale. Just wanted to do kind of a general video today. There's kind of a lot of things I wanted to talk about. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is land. So not a lot of realtors sell land, and it's all for good reason, because when you're selling land, there's a lot to it. It's not just, it's just a piece of blank land that you're starting from scratch from. There's a lot of questions that you have to answer, and you've heard me say this many times before. The first question you have to ask, okay, let's look at the topography of the land. So this land, for example, it's fairly flat, but if you look and you go back further, it starts to go up. So now you need to start thinking, okay, so it's flat here, but then the topography starts kind of elevating up. That means we need to bring more soil in. Not only that, but as you can see, it's very wooded, which means that it's going to take a lot of clearing. So you're going to have to consider how much clearing costs are, how much dirt you're going to have to bring in. So it's not that simple where it's like, oh, it's flat, I can build a house, I can build a Harris Teeter. Even with them, even if it's flat land, for example, you guys can't tell, but right now I'm standing on this dirt, and I'm sinking just a little bit because it's really wet. If anyone knows the thunderstorm that we had, I think we even had a warning about it yesterday. So that's kind of the first thing, is when you're looking for land or at land, you're looking at the topography and the elevation of the land. The next thing that you have to consider is city sewer, city water, septic, or well. So if you're lucky, for example, Lancaster is pretty good about having sewer and water lines. It's kind of funny that in Lancaster, towards like the mill area and the downtown, there's still a lot of sewer and water lines because it used to be a mill village. Basically, there was huge warehouses, huge production, a lot of blue-collar workers in the last 50 to 100 years. So because of all those manufacturing plants, all of the city water and city sewer lines were already installed. As of right now, all of that kind of went away, and that's why it doesn't seem like there's a lot of infrastructure, but there's still a lot of those lines. So for this property specifically, we do have city sewer and city water out here. So for the neighborhood business that wants to come in here, a Harris Teeter, a Publix, or I see a lot of universities are looking at this lot right here, there is that city sewer, city water. Another thing you want to think about is the restrictions. So working with land, I've developed a lot of connections with planners all over the counties. We're talking about Mecklenburg County, Union County, Gaston County. It's very important because you might want to put a huge retail shopping center here, but if the town doesn't want it, they're not going to approve it, and you're not going to get it. End of story. So this property here is zoned neighborhood business, which allows anything from a hotel to a business park to an industrial park. But still, right now, maybe about 10, 15 years ago, you could get away with just coming to the board and saying, hey, I want to do this. There's going to be this many stores, this many parking spots. Now you need a site plan. Only site plans will be reviewed. They want to see exactly, you have to hire an engineer, a surveyor. So there's a lot of costs associated in buying land, especially huge pieces of land. So if you're buying just one lot for one house, then it's a little bit simpler. You probably invest about $1,000 to $2,000, getting the survey, getting the septic test, the city, the water, all of that, the attorney fees. But as you get into bigger properties of land, they take longer to sell. It's going to take at least 6 months just for them to get their plans in front of the board, and then it's going to take another year for everything to get approved. And that's kind of where I wanted to start my conversation in about Corona and COVID and how it's impacted the real estate market. So I'm going to be speaking about me specifically, Akin Realty, and everything that I've done and how it's impacted me, as well as a lot of the things that I've heard, because there's a lot of different thoughts and conspiracies, and it really just impacts everybody differently. So I've been very fortunate where my business, Akin Realty, is my own company, and I've been able to spread it around along 3 different kinds of industries. So I have the residential real estate part of real estate that I do. I have commercial, warehouse, industrial part that I do, leasing, and then I've also got the land development, which is separate from residential land. Commercial land, residential land, it's different. So I've been very fortunate where having my foot in 3 different buckets, it kind of helps me diversify what I do and keeps me busy. So I have to be quite honest, with this COVID, I haven't experienced any pauses. If anything, I would say I've gotten so much busier because real estate is still going. I mean, attorneys' offices are not closed. Just last week, we had a closing on a townhome. You guys saw it in my Facebook post. We literally sat in the car. The attorneys came to us and we signed the paperwork. So that's, attorneys are still working. Lenders, some of them are backed up a little bit. For example, yesterday I got a call from a commercial client of mine where because of the COVID, a lot of the SBA loans have been put a little bit on pause because they're only caring about the PPAs right now. That's the Paycheck Protection Program, because with Trump's new law, how everybody gets either $1,200 or $500 for the child. That's been kind of their main focus. So just now, a lot of them have been backed up a little bit, but I would say that's more in the commercial world. But in residential, Guild Mortgage with Tony Napranco, we have a closing coming up this week. I haven't experienced any pauses. The only thing might be appraisals are held up a little bit, but inspectors are still working, surveyors are still working, so real estate is still going strong. And like I said, I've been busier than ever. I mean, March has been my craziest month. It already was planned to have the most closings, and people continue to buy real estate. Unfortunately, there are families who are losing their jobs and they have to save as much money as they can, and they can't do that. Of course, we've had some contracts fall through because people can't get financing because they've either lost their jobs or they just don't have the money right now, and so everybody's kind of taking this approach differently. There's the kind of person that goes and buys out all the toilet paper and water bottles, and then there's the kind of person that stays at home and continues life as they were. So I personally, Christina Kalyakin with Akin Realty LLC, have tried to continue working hard. The firefighter truck. I hope you guys can hear me amongst all this highway. I'm literally off of 521 bypass. So another thing that I wanted to talk about this morning, thank you to my good friend Lacey Tony. She sent me a podcast by Kevin Ward. I actually listen to Kevin Ward a lot. He's a broker in California, and I was listening to it on my way here. And one thing that he brought up, especially for us realtors, so this is kind of realtor to realtor, colleague to colleague, but even, citizen to citizen, we sometimes are being made looked like the victim. Yes, there are some people that are actually struggling and need the help and are losing their jobs. But as us realtors and us as entrepreneurs, we know that our work comes from our own hands. So yes, there are some people that are struggling and need the help of the Paycheck Protection Program, but a lot of us realtors, the work comes from us. For example, I have not stopped working. My research, the times, let's say that I didn't have enough time to do the research that I needed to gather more listings, or I'm starting to catch up on all of that now, and I'm getting a call every other day about listing a property. There are people that are still wanting to sell their property. There are people that are calling me from the West Coast at least once a week that are moving over here. So we don't want to be made look like the victim. So especially from realtor to realtor, we still need to continue working hard to take this COVID as an opportunity to continue growing in our success. So that was a really big thing that kind of hit me, because some of us are starting to get lazy, and some of my sellers, we're not getting as many showings. And again, there's 2 sides to it. The first side is we're not allowed to show homes that have sellers living in them. But the other side is that a lot of realtors are just taking this as an excuse to take a bit of a break, to kind of relax. And that's what's kind of making this pause. Tim Gardner, I see you're watching from Atlanta. Yes, Union County is booming too. So another thing I wanted to talk about recently, I was talking to a builder. So really quickly, I'm gonna post in Facebook, there's this program called Atmos Builders. It's really cool. So it's basically, imagine going to Zillow, you find the lot, but automatically you already have a builder and you can already start looking at plans that would fit for that lot. So look out for my Facebook and Instagram posts. I'm gonna be featuring them. That's a really cool feature that I personally would be interested to use. So that's about listing the land, and so I've built kind of a connection with them. So if you find land and you're looking for a builder, you know, I'm here as a resource for that as well. I've got plenty of people from custom homes to model homes to big development companies, you know, Meritage Home, D.R. Horton, just continuing to build those relationships. And again, colleague to colleague, whether you're a realtor or not, this is an opportunity for us to continue networking. If anything, a lot of us are sitting at home, so your phone still works, so you can still call, you can still text, you can still post videos. So I would encourage this kind of a message to all of our entrepreneurs that we are going to be the reason that we can continue moving our economy, that we don't give up and that we don't kind of slack off. So still stay safe, wear your gloves, wear your masks, stay inside, don't be within 6 feet of people, no crowds bigger than 10, just like they tell us. And the faster this will be over. But again, even from our home office chairs, even from our living rooms, real estate is still going. We're still continuing to work. I've been fortunate where a lot of my businesses land, and so there's nobody out here, as you can tell. So I continue buying and selling land. So this is Christina with Akin Realty LLC. We've got a lot of stuff coming. I'm telling you, this COVID honestly has only been helpful, I gotta be careful how I choose my words. It's only been helpful in my real estate business because I've got a website up and running where you can see everything that I've been doing. It's being constantly updated. I've got some changes coming in the business. I've got some people that are looking to join me. I've got many more videos to come, and I'm just excited about what 2020 has to bring. Even though we can't go out and we can't travel as much as we wanted to, I will have to do it from my home office chair, and I'm excited about that. And I know that if we work together, if we follow the rules, and if we continue working, we will get back on our feet, hopefully before the summer is over, so we can enjoy our 4th of July. And I have a university trip to University Orlando. Any suggestions for what to do in Orlando, I'd be very happy, so hopefully that won't be canceled. But I hope all of you have a great rest of your week, and I'm always here to help. Again, residential, commercial, land development. I'm your girl, Christina Kalyakin at Akin Realty LLC. I hope all of you enjoy the rest of your week.